We're back to the Jeff Kuhner Show. Jeff Kuhner and WTNT. That's red, white, and blue dynamite, baby. The Kuhner Show. It's Kuhner time.
Welcome back to the Kuhner Show on 570 WTNT. The last honest man in Washington. 301-984-9570 is the number. My friends, besides being a prominent Washington radio talk show host and a columnist at the Washington Times, I am also the president of the Edmund Burke Institute. You can go to edmundburkeinstitute.org, read our monthly publication. We have one of the best conservative political magazines in the country called Reflections. You can read it for free. And you want to see what kind of caliber the listeners of Kuhner Country consist of? This is what I love about this show, is that we have been able to recruit some of the finest writers in this country, some of the finest journalists in this country, people who were just listeners to Kuhner Country, who have now become top-notch writers, who now write for Reflections on a regular monthly basis. Kelly Catherine in Baltimore, Dr. Lee Broadhurst, who almost single-handedly has destroyed the myth of man-made global warming, and the editor of that magazine, who's also the executive producer of the Kuhner Show. Believe me, she is the brains behind the Edmund Burke Institute. She is the brains behind Reflections magazine. She is the brains behind the Kuhner Show. It is Dr. Grace Vuoto. She is the executive director of EBI, and of course, as I've said, the executive producer of the Kuhner Show. Welcome, Dr. Grace.
Hello, Jeff. Thank you very, very much. And you forgot one important designation.
My wife?
Oh,
that's the most important, sweetheart. I just slipped my mind, gorgeous.
That is correct. And I have to say to all the members of the Kuhner Country, what a great dream we have realized, Jeff and I. When we met and we were very, very young, we dreamed not only of being married, but also of being able to fuse our professional lives together. And over the years, we slowly began to do that, and the Kuhner Show itself is a culmination of the two of us not only being able to, be married and enjoy each other on a personal level, but also to collaborate professionally. So I want to thank everybody out there that made that dream of ours possible.
Dr. Vuoto, Dr. Grace, as you know, you have a very important, provocative piece I want everybody to go out and read. Believe me, this baby's making the rounds. It is called Christians Rise Up. What is the basic theme and point of your article in the current issue of Reflections magazine, where everybody can find at www.edmundburke, institute.org. Go.
Yes, Jeff. This piece is basically a call to action to all American Christians. The title, as you said, is Christians Rise Up. And I am really telling Christians it is time to get politically active. We must fight liberalism in every area of American life. And the good news is this. Christians in America are the overwhelming majority. 76% of Americans identify themselves as Christians. That means 234 million people in this country identify themselves as Christians. We are the overwhelming majority, and that statistic is full of power. It is ultimately full of political power. And what I am saying very simply is that if every Christian in America got active, we would crush liberalism with a single blow.
Why have Christians not become more politically active? And why don't they realize that secular liberalism is their great enemy?
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. The first is that we have been under assault. That is, the Christian heritage of this nation has been under assault. One of the very first things that the progressives did is they tried to strip away from Christians the understanding of their own past. Basically, they rewrote our history. They are trying still to tell us, for example, that America was not founded upon Christian principles, that our founding fathers were not Christians. In fact, that is historically incorrect. So one of the first things that happen is that many Christians are themselves confused about the incredible role that they had at the founding. The second thing that progressives have done is they have taken over our education system. And what they have done is, under the guise of saying that secularism is just a form of neutrality, they have really stripped our youth from any sense or knowledge of their own heritage, their own Christian heritage. So essentially you have a twofold assault, a very powerful assault that has taken place upon Christians in America. One, taking away our history from us, another, taking away our education. And if you add that with a lot of arguments that Christians themselves have accepted, you get a Christian population that has been essentially mollified and become weak and lacking in self-confidence.
We've been talking to Dr. Grace Vuoto. She is the executive director of the Edmund Burke Institute. She is also the executive producer of the Kuhner Show. Dr. Grace, one more time, where can people go and read your very important and brilliantly written article?
They can go to www.edmundburkeinstitute.org, and they can click on the cover story, Christians Rise Up. The big message there is that secular America is not neutral to Christianity, and we must take political action in order to reclaim our country.
Thank you so much, Dr. Grace. My friends, the question before the House is this: do you believe that Christians have become vilified, and should they now politically seize their own destiny and confront secular liberalism head-on? 301-984-9570. Let's go to our busy phone lines.